Today we're breaking down the Astra Malorum Easter egg ending cutscene as it gives us our first hints towards DLC 2, as well as some secret details that hint towards the narrative for the next map being very different to what we've expected. Let's jump straight into it, but I'd love to know your thoughts about this ending in the comments below. Before we can break it down, if you haven't seen the ending yet, then here it is in full.
Give me back my life, creature!
Easy.
Gang's all here. And if you ain't the ones been busy letting my pets out their cages, I think y'all earned yourselves a timeout. Take them.
So what are the key takeaways from this ending? Well, starting from the very beginning, by defeating Enquiries, she is freed from the warden's control and returns to her Shadowsmith form. Just like on Ashes of the Damned, the entity is also here to whisk our characters away to a pocket dimension once Nikolai and Grey have their souls restored. Understandably, Nikolai is pretty stressed in this situation, almost threatening Enquiries, with Grey acting as a calming figure to help calm him down so the soul restoring process can take place. But as soon as that is finished, things go terribly wrong, as unlike Ashes of the Damned, it's not a simple case of the entity teleporting the group to a pocket dimension where the warden can't find them, as the warden is one step ahead here, taking over control of the Dark Ether after intermittently disappearing as he had other business to attend to in Ashes of the Damned, and the entity gets scared when this happens and disappears moments before the warden arrives. But the color of the portal and smoke behind the entity seems to be that of danger, being a red, and as she disappears, there is the faint silhouette of what could be our first look at DLC 2. It's extremely hard to make out, but it almost looks like an atmosphere within the Dark Ether of gas and stars and clouds, but there is the shape of this object in the middle that is dark and silhouetted, and even when we freeze frame it right here, it's still incredibly vague and really hard to make out. So if you have any ideas what this shape or object could be that is being reflected here, please let me know. Once she disappears, Grey warns Enquiries to immediately leave. The warden then explains that because the characters have let his pets out of their cages, it's time that they've earned a timeout. Now, whilst at first this might seem like a passing comment, there is actually a lot more context to this that I don't think a lot of you would realize upon first watch. And we really need to break down the context of what timeout would mean when moments later we're seeing Ravagers attacking our characters and literally dragging them into the ground into what looks like a pit leading them into hell. Now, the first synonym is that timeout is referring to a pocket dimension that is out of time that the warden is sending our crew to. And immediately there are some connotations to the idea of previous maps existing that are pocket dimensions, and the first thing that comes to mind and the most popular is of course Alcatraz, Mob of the Dead / Blood of the Dead. Now, there is zero evidence that actually has any indication that it could be, but the visual representation of the hell that they're being dragged into looks quite similar to the lava that you can see throughout Blood of the Dead, especially during that end cutscene, where you also have this sort of wave of red energy covering all across the map that looks a little bit similar. And whilst it's dangerous to make a formal judgment based on leaks and rumors, there was a rumor all the way back when Black Ops 7 was first revealed that there was a potential Mob of the Dead remake style map happening at some point for Black Ops 7. It would be amazing if it happened, but I doubt it, although at the end of Tag der Toten, we do see specifically that one of the locations that gets visually shown ending up in the Dark Ether includes Alcatraz. So narratively, there is no reason why that wouldn't make sense in our current Black Ops 7 Zombies narrative, but there just isn't any actual clues to fully enforce this idea, apart from the idea of a timeout being a pocket dimension. And also when we do think about hell, which is kind of what it looks like our characters being dragged into, Blood of the Dead and Mob of the Dead have always been considered to be a hell dimension. There is of course the mystery on why the Warden is named the Warden, as we know in previous zombie storyline that the Warden was synonymous as being the Warden of Alcatraz. But I guess we will just have to wait and see. Another lead on what our DLC 2 map could be based off this is the idea that the next map, or at least a map down the line, is going to be a Alpha Omega remake from Black Ops 4. This is a rumor that started circulating about a week ago from the Ghost of Hope, and there isn't any evidence within this ending to prove that they are being dragged into Alpha Omega. However, there is a side Easter egg on the map where you can pick up some gramophones, and if you place it down in the Luminarium room, it does play the game over music from Alpha Omega, which is very specific. And if that isn't the biggest sort of tongue-in-cheek reference by Treyarch to hint that Alpha Omega is upcoming, then I honestly don't know what else it could mean. And similarly, just like with Alcatraz, as displayed at the end of Tag der Toten, the end of the Dark Ether storyline, we also see that map get taken into the Dark Ether specifically. What do you guys think? Do you think Alpha Omega is coming as the next map? Let me know your thoughts below. The third and final theory as to what DLC 2 could be is also by looking closely at what our characters are being dragged into by the Ravagers, where, as I've mentioned earlier, it does look like lava. Now, again, we've had leaks and rumors in the past that an upcoming map for Black Ops 7 Zombies is going to evolve around Takeo storyline, and it's going to be set at the bottom of a Japanese volcano that is erupting. It isn't far-fetched at all to say that if that is true, then what we could see is the lava from the volcano itself that our characters are being dragged into. However, I want to make it very clear, as mentioned at the start of the video, that the next map is not going to follow the same pattern that we've gotten used to with Ashes and Astra. That pattern being that on the next map, two of our characters will not have their souls restored. Because as the Warden has mentioned, Warden has sent them to a location as a timeout, something that is off the beaten track of where the entity has wanted to take them next. Using some logical thought process here, you'd think that with the 8 characters that we have as our crew, we'd have 4 maps total where their souls would be restored, 2 characters at a time. If this next map breaks that pattern, then it seems that we could be getting 5 zombies maps total through the DLC season, as per leaks and rumors have suggested. One thing that I do think is very important to pay attention to in this ending, however, is that it seems that the next map will at least focus on Takeo. And the reason for that is Takeo is so heavily focused on at the end of this outro cutscene that it almost seems that Treyarch are intentionally showing this because they want to make important that Takeo is going to be the focus in the next map. All the characters suffer the same fate, however the one that puts up the most fight is Takeo, and it's almost like as if because of that, the way he's taken is even more punishing. What I think is fantastic about this ending, however, is it makes the Warden actually seem like a credible threat within the zombie storyline. Clearly, we can see that despite our character's best efforts to act with the entity in ways where the Warden cannot see, this authority that the Warden displays in the ending shows that no matter what they do, he is always one step ahead. Where do you think we are heading in DLC 2? Clearly, we've been dragged into hell, but where is hell going to take place? Is it going to be at the foot of an erupting volcano? Is it going to be Alpha Omega? Is it going to be Mob of the Dead? I think the fact that it is so vague and we don't have a clear answer yet is actually a really good thing and quite refreshing compared to what we had in Black Ops 6. If you enjoyed the video at all, let me know by dropping a thumbs up down below. I have a ton of Astra Malorum videos on the channel, including full Easter egg guide, boss fight guide, and tons of tips and tricks coming very soon. Be sure to subscribe with the bell to not miss anything, and check out this video on your screen right now because YouTube thinks you're going to love it.